Hi, it's Carl Ford in the TMC newsroom here in San Jose, and Paul Steinberg, who's director of Americas for Avego. Is it Avego?
Or Avego, whatever you
Avego.
prefer.
This is going to be a fun interview. We've been having a lot of fun talking, and right off the bat, the situation I want to set up. He thinks of kayak, I think of like Priceline, but you know when they tell you that there are hotels that have empty rooms, imagine all the vehicles going by you. So that's the start of the conversation. Paul, tell me about Avego. When did it start, and who are your customers?
Sure. So Sean O'Sullivan is our founder. He founded a company 20 years ago, went public, called MapInfo, which was based upon GPS and GIS technology. Living back in his family homeland of Ireland, he uses mass transportation quite a bit, and it's actually one of the least automated parts of our daily lives. So anyone who has used public transportation, it's a lot of paper timetables. There are some cities that are putting out, real information, but for the most part, you're still paying cash, and it's not very automated like email is or other parts of our lives. So he wanted to leverage that his expertise, but solve what he saw as a big waste of commodity. So being an engineer, you hate waste, and if you stand on a bus stop waiting for your bus, there's probably at least a dozen vehicles that pass you by in 10 minutes going exactly to where you're going, but you have no idea of knowing that or to match up with those people, so to speak. So what you want to do is build tools that allow us to very easily and intuitively match up commuters with an available seat, regardless if that's in a car, a bus, or something unique to the U.S. called vans or van pool.
So that's cool. Now, you've got some interesting deployments worldwide, and we'll deal with that in a moment. But right off the bat, just explain to me how the app works and how I, as someone with a smartphone, would use this.
Sure. So the driver of a carpooling vehicle who wants to offer up seats does need a special application downloaded to a smartphone. That can be on an iPhone or a Windows 7 phone today, and soon you'll see an Android version of that as well. The rider, on the other hand, only needs to log into a website or go to any phone that has texting capabilities. You can send a text message to request a ride. And then what happens is you, as the driver, if you want, you can set up routes or schedules that you do on a regular basis, but it's absolutely not necessary. Our belief is that the reason why only 15% of the population carpools today is because we have a very dynamic lifestyle, and people don't know when they're going to leave, and when they're ready, they want to leave right then. They don't want to wait 10 or 20 minutes. So the main purpose is for you to just say, I'm starting from point A and going to point B, and it uses the location of the phone just like Google Maps and routes you using Google, so it's the same experience you're used to for navigating, but now you're publicizing empty seats in your vehicle. And the rider is simply sending a text message or on a website, or yes, there's a cell phone as well, requesting a ride, either right now or up to several days in advance. Like, I know next Tuesday I need to go somewhere, I need a ride there. And the system automatically handles all of the rules around keeping you from driving too far off your journey and matching people up with the best available schedule to meet their needs.
Okay, now the U.S. is not exactly the most friendly place for this kind of stuff, but $4 a gallon gas, who knows, we might get into it soon.
Right.
Where else have you had experience and success?
So we initially launched it 3 years ago, and there have literally been several 100,000 downloads in 63 countries. But the challenge is critical mass, having enough rides available at the moment that you're searching so the rider experience is successful. So we have what we call hot spots in Bergen, Norway, Cork, Ireland, which is in our backyard, of course, and even here in the United States, the first ever what's called dynamic carpool pilot ever tried in the U.S. is in Seattle. And that goes from downtown Seattle all the way up the peninsula across the 520 bridge into Redmond from Microsoft campus. And the reason why the Washington DOT wanted to experiment with carpooling dynamic is, one, it does happen naturally in San Francisco, D.C., and Houston, but they're also turning on tolling on this bridge. It's already heavily congested, and they know that's just going to truly dramatically affect carpooling or usage, and they really are looking for ways to alleviate congestion. It's going to take them 5 to 10 years to add lanes to that bridge. So it's a long time to be dealing with the congestion that's already overburdening.
It'd be nice if they gave a discount to the car who was carpooling to go into there, but
it's exactly what needs to happen. That's what they're building next to lanes. But today there's no HOV over the bridge,
right.
So everyone has to pay it. But what you will see in the future is that's what they want to look at places like San Francisco, where there's a different rate for carpoolers versus a single occupancy vehicle. Sadly, here in the Bay Area, where you naturally have what's called casual carpooling, strangers getting in cars with strangers in Oakland to go to San Francisco,
right.
They recently upped the bridge tolls to raise more money. They raised it for all vehicles. Carpooling used to be free, so you had a lot of carpool usage. Once they introduced half-price tolling, so it's half the price for carpooling, but just adding that dropped carpooling by 50%. I mean, it's a shame they're sabotaging the carpool use in one of the best used places in the country.
Right, and you mentioned in California you guys are actually recognized as something that the enterprise could show as being a way that they've impacted the amount of commuters to their offices.
Correct. So one of the challenges in the TDM community, transportation domain management, is how do you track the effects of individuals, or more importantly on corporations on how they're reducing emissions. And there's not only federal standards, but in certain states like California, even more prohibitive standards of how many emissions a corporation must reduce or buy credits for. And one of the programs that is supported is carpooling, and we are a valid reporting mechanism of factual reporting trips, because you can't cheat the system with all of our security. If you took the carpool trip here, the report out of here is validly proven through GPS that you actually traversed that corridor.
Okay, and last but not least, because you brought up another conference other than ours, but It's okay. It's okay, I understand. ITS 2000. You're contributing to that, and in theory, you're going to make the first car-free event, right?
Actually, it's very important. It's called ITS World Congress. It's in Orlando this year in October. It's where around the globe, tens of thousands of people from every automaker, from GM, Ford, Fiat, etc., come together to talk about things that probably are more prevalent. There's like the intelligent, car that talks to each other. But we're actually lighting up the public transportation agency called Lynx with our technology in the buses for real time. VPSI is our partner in van pooling for all of their vans. And the public at large can download smartphone apps to light up their own cars as carpools. And free shuttle service from the airport to the hotel, so that you don't need a car. You can come to the conference, book rides in advance or in the moment, and get travel to where you're going completely, without any cost to you. And we're trying to dramatically reduce mileage at a car conference, which is pretty interesting. We actually tested this last year at ACT International, which is a much smaller conference, only 300 people, and it worked fabulously. But these are people in the business of carpooling. So this will be the first time a conference with people who are in the business of selling more cars. We're going to try to get them to get out of those cars and share the ride.
Well, we'll see how well they do, and they also sell buses too, so it's understandable that they might be contributors.
There you go.
Great. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Pleasure to meet you.